Visit ccgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. As usual, I'm looking forward to when the new set is released to build as many budget decks as I can, and for today's video I just decided to build this Steven's Claydol deck. A very interesting rogue deck that can be simply used in the standard format, causing a lot of problems to multiple decks in the standard format. It's a really interesting deck. I really like it. It has a lot of potential. That miraculous spin can hit from 40 up to 210 with 4 Stevens Resolve in discard pile, Choice Band, and the Diancie on the bench, which is insane. I mean, the truth is that it's going to cost you 3 energies or just double Core's energy attachment and fighting energy from your hand, but it's just amazing. I kind of like it. It can do a lot of problems. It can one-hit knockout many popular Pokemons in the standard format as well. Since this is going to be a post-rotation deck, we're not going to have Fighting Fury Belt, so some other 180, 190 HP Pokemon, speaking about basic Pokemon, are going to be much more easier to one-hit knockout. Yeah, the truth is that you're going to need some way to get, those energies floating around, but this is the reason why I'm running XP Share to help me out in this build. So yeah, 14 Pokemon, 36 trainer cards, and 10 energies. Let's move on from the Oranguru to the Deoxys, so we can just speak a little bit about deck list itself. So it contains Oranguru with Instruct, interesting card. It can swing also with the Psychic for a decent amount of damage, but it's mainly here for that extra draw support in case if we don't have cards in our hand, so that can sometimes be useful. 4 copies of Baltoys with Psybolt, who can just, hit for 40, maybe for 70, or just for 20. It can go from 20 to 70, depending on what we're gonna have in play, 20 for just a regular double Core's energy attachment, 40 for Diancie on the bench, and 70 if the active Pokemon is GX and if we have Diancie in Choice Band. And we can also get lucky and paralyze our opponent active Pokemon, which is just amazing. And then next turn we can spin Bolt, we can Miraculous spin, or maybe Psybolt, for extra damage and paralyzed, so I kind of like that. In addition to that, I'm running also 3 Claydols as our main attacker, but also backup attacker Buzzwole with the Sledgehammer and Swing Around. We're just gonna focusing using that Sledgehammer attack, but it's gonna be very powerful as well. Theoretically, Sledgehammer can pull up, from 120 to 170 again, and our opponent will not be in a position to skip 4 price cards, just because he's gonna be forced to take price per price. The only way he might be able to skip those 4 price cards if he just take the first price card and the second prize, and if he'll have that Jirachi available, that's the only way to go for him to skip that 4 price card. Disadvantage for that Sledgehammer attack, but with Sledgehammer we can swing for 170, and with Counter Catcher we can easily counter catch that topple on our opponent bench for 1-hit knockout and for 2 price cards, so we can equal the game, which can be a huge advantage. Diancie for extra damage, Sudowoodo, so we can just limit that Zoroark decks down to 100 damage, so they cannot one-hit knock at our Claydol, and that's pretty much, I should say, outlaws for the Zoroark decks. Then there's also Jirachi with Wish Upon a Star deck, kind of like it. It can also use Purge Dream as well, and that Deoxys, who can just one-hit knock on Buzzwole GXs with Deep Psychic attack. Moving on to the item cards, first I'm gonna notice and mention that XP Share. Basically, XP Share are gonna help us to preserve one of those basic fighting energies when our active Pokemon is gonna be knocked out from the damage. Remember that Poison or Burn will just interrupt that XP Share rule, so that's not gonna count, unfortunately. because the last damage was dealt from the poison or from the burn, and in that case you cannot use advantage of the XP share. But overall, if we just took the knockout from our opponent active Pokemon with the damage, we can just keep 1 energy floating around, so that's a good thing. Also 3 choice band for extra damage, but yeah, it's just part of any deck. So moving on from the item cards, we're gonna find also 2 Counter Catchers, 1 energy recycle system, so we can recycle some of the energies from our discard pile back to our deck, or we can maybe just grab one of those energies and put them into our hand. 2 Enhanced Hammer, so we can slow down a little bit of our opponent energy attachments in play. Field Blower ×1, 1 copy of Pulpad, so we can just recycle some of the draw supporters that we need, or maybe Guzmas. 2 copies of Rescue Stretchers, 4 copies of Ultra Ball, and 3 copies of Brooklet Hill for the setup at our turn 1, turn 2, and so on and so on. Kind of good for the Baltoy deck, because many of those Pokemons are fighting Pokemons expect for the Oranguru, Jirachi, and Deoxys. Supporter cards, running 8 draw supporters, 4 copies of Copycat and 4 copies of Tate and Lisa. Unfortunately, the reason why I'm doing that is just because I'm doing the budget build of this deck. So if you have more money, or if you already have Cynthias, you should definitely play 4 Cynthias instead of those Copycats, in my opinion. Maybe you should keep probably 1 or 2 Copycats and consider doing substitute for Cynthias. 2 Guzmas, 4 Steven Resolves, 4 copies of Tate and Lisa, and 10 energies, 4 double cores, and 6 regular fighting energies as well. Steven Resolve, very powerful card, especially if we can hit it at our turn 1, and if we go first on our turn 1, we can just search a deck, for example, for Ultra Ball and 2 more Steven Resolves, and we can already have 3 of them in our discard pile, and then we can just start to applying a ton of pressure to our opponent with those miraculous spins attacks from our Claydol. And that's the deck list that I'm gonna use in this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Let me also know in the comments below what you think about this deck list. So let's do some game tests so you can see how this deck works in action. So see you in the game. Alright, so today we're playing with Steven's Claydol deck. Really interesting deck that can be used for the standard format. Downside of the Claydol, unfortunately, is the fact that you need to have those Steven Resolve cards in your discard pile. But on the other side, sometimes we might just use advantage of Steven Resolve, trying to set things up later. We can also just discard those Steven Resolves with our Ultra Balls, for example. So it's, in my opinion, interesting deck, definitely as a rogue deck that can be used in the standard format. We're gonna see how good or how bad this deck is gonna be in just a couple seconds. I'm waiting my opponent for the setup. Extra card for me. Alright, this looks like an interesting matchup, that's for sure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna grab myself a Ultra Ball and 2 more Steven Resolves so I can throw them out. The reason for that is simply the fact that with as many Stevens in my discard pile, that damage can be increased for 40. So each Steven Resolve in my discard pile will give me the opportunity to hit for 40 more my opponent. And my opponent might just decide to use Jab or Detect. So very close, almost to be knocked out here. Probably I'm gonna play against Garchomp deck. So 2 rogue decks, maybe not, maybe I'm gonna play against Lucario GX, who knows. Ooh, he flipped tails on the coin flip, alright. Well, with that being said, I managed to throw that energy out. I'm looking forward for something like Diancie, so I can also have that damage increased, but who knows, if I get lucky I might be able also to knock that Riolo out, we shall see. Very close, but unfortunately not enough. But still, I can keep trying to get more of my resources. Okay, so I'm gonna grab myself Oranguru, and this is gonna be one huge instruct for 3. I still get some time maybe to get my Claydol and energy in play. Oh yes, there is a Claydol, but unfortunately not the good energy. Anyways, let's try to use Psybolt and see for how many we can hit for 40, and he is paralyzed. Okay, but if he can evolve into Lucario, that doesn't mean too much for me. Whew. Yeah, that was a very close turn in my opinion, and there's the Brooklet Hill as well, so at least with the Brooklet Hill I can search my deck for something like, oh, there's the Regirock. Alright, so Eva Soda will probably bring him Lucario in play. And it's the Lucario GX. Unfortunately, he can hit for more than like 120. He can hit for enough damage counters for the one-hit knockout. And right now I just need to find a way somehow to counter my opponent Lucario. I'm gonna need Claydol. Alright, speaking about Claydol, just managed to get one as a top deck. Let's search something with the Brooklet Hill, like Buzzwole for example. Instruct for 2 and that Lisa for 5. So there's a choice band, and I'm gonna need to get pretty much a single fighting energy, which I was able to get. And there's the also XP share and fighting energy, so I can hit for 170 just like that, which will give me the opportunity to take first 2 prize cards in the game, and more than that there's the Ultra Ball, meaning that I can simply throw out my Steven Resolve for the next turn, which is going to be very important. And probably right now my opponent is thinking, oh, what the heck was just happened? Yeah, I mean, he can simply just easily counter me back with his Lucario, there's no doubt about it. If he decide to do that, probably I'm just going to target that. Who knows, I mean, I'm gonna have Buzzwole available, so I might just decide to go for the knockout against Diancie on the bench, we shall see. So yeah, very difficult to play against Lucario in this situation, really it is. I'm gonna take knockout here, so 150. The biggest problem is that XP share, unfortunately, so I can have 4 Stevens in my discard pile, meaning that I can hit for 160. 180 with Diancie or 210 with the choice band. But the big problem is that unfortunately in this case I unfortunately cannot get that choice band in play. So I'm gonna try something different here. For example, let's go with another Baltoy. Ultra Ball for Claydol. I can also instruct for a couple more cards. I still don't play my supporter card, which I can, but since I already decided to attach energy so I can hit with the Sledgehammer, that's gonna be just a Sledgehammer for 140. And that's pretty much it. This might be a big mistake, especially if my opponent can knock my Claydol on the bench. Oh, even worse, there's the Acerola, meaning that he will just scoop his active Lucario into his hand and swing back from... yeah, and swing back for the one-hit knockout against my Buzzwole. In this case, I think I'm just gonna need to apply pressure to those benched Pokemons. In this case, I'm gonna need to go for the Reggie on the bench. I just need to do that. I just need to take Reggie so I can be 2 prizes ahead of my opponent, but since he's taking 1 prize right now, I'm gonna be just 1 prize ahead. Yeah, I guess I need to move that energy. So my biggest concern is how to basically avoid energy loss for the next turn. That's my biggest concern right now. But at least I can take 2 prize cards, and at least I might be able to take the knockout against that Zoroark sooner or later, if it just enters the play. We shall see. Energy card, and I can spin for the 1-hit knockout. That's gonna be 180. And I'm taking 2 prizes. Oh, that XP share thought. I wish I had it so I can just absorb that energy to my bench with Baltoy. I mean, what? He's in a very difficult position right now. My opponent just needs to find a way somehow to knock me out. There's not a single damage on that Lucario, so he might just want to search another Lucario energy. If that don't happen, well, speaking about Lucario energy, there is the energy for now, and will there be Lucario as well? We shall see. Another Riolo for my opponent. And there is the Ultra Ball as well. Alright, so what can I do after that? I can take 1 more prize card, I guess. Trying to knock his Zorua out with my Buzzwole, which I'm definitely gonna do. And after that I will need to basically set that XP share out so I can try to knock that Diancie for the last prize card. Oh, yeah, so right now he just decided to play that XP share. Alright. Actually Field Blower, but this is a good thing. Aura Strike for 140. Thankfully I have Guzma available. Yeah, that Jirachi, wish it was prized, but unfortunately he was not. Alright, so I guess I want to get out of as many cards as I can from my hand. We are looking forward to play this Guzma, so I can swing for like 50. But since Zorua is weak, I can use that as advantage. Okay, so I'm gonna need that rescue stretcher, there's no doubt about that. Counter Catcher for next turn, not gonna be useful. Anyways, Copycat might be useful, so I'm down to 1 prize. And I'm gonna need Miracle. If my opponent can get somehow Guzma in play, which probably he can, then I'm gonna lose this game. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to recover. There's another Lucario, and he can swing for... Ooh, or maybe I will be able to recover just because he decided to put another Zorua on the bench. Interesting. And he decided to concede overall. At the end, my opponent just decided to throw everything out and concede the game. The truth is that I didn't have another Guzma, and I wouldn't be able to search it, so who knows what would happen next. Maybe he was not able to get those Azarolas in play after that anymore, but overall, very interesting gameplay overall, and very successful play at least. At least we know that the last prize card was that Deoxys with the Psychic. You know, but I wish that Jirachi was not prized, so I could take extra prize knocking his Zorua out for the victory, you know. So sometimes that extra prize Jirachi can just bring the victory from nowhere, and it can simply surprise your opponent without too many problems, you know. He probably wouldn't expect to see that Jirachi anyways, so yeah. But overall, very interesting deck list. and very powerful deck list. In my opinion, this deck list probably does not cost more than like 20 bucks, and it's simply amazing how powerful it can be. I kind of like it, and it's just for the new players and for the budget players. But yeah, feel free to use it, to test it, because you're definitely gonna like it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Let me also know in the comments below what you think about it. We'll see you next time. So yeah, as usual, have a nice day and goodbye.